I was invited to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links tournament with zero experience. How do you think I did? Good morning. Arrived here in Paris, France yesterday. Met with the Konami team and the players. So what's happening is the tournament's about 4 hours. I've been obviously practicing as much as I can. I've made a few little deck lists just to practice. Because there's really good Yu-Gi-Oh players here. They've made some pre-made decks and we randomly were assigned one yesterday. So I got Pegasus. This fella.
Yugi boy, Yugi boy, Yugi boy, Yugi boy, Yugi boy, Yugi boy.
If you want to try the game for yourself, it's on Steam and on mobile clients, and the link is in the description for you to download. To give you a quick rundown of the tournament, there was 12 invitees from Europe, from Spain, Italy, France, Germany, and the UK, all with varying knowledge of Yu-Gi-Oh! Myself and the other UK player, Pleasant Kenobi, I'll link his channel below, he plays Magic the Gathering. We had zero knowledge in Yu-Gi-Oh! In any format I mentioned before. So the best way for me to describe this, imagine you've got a test in 4 days you haven't revised for. I did that level of cramming within those 4 days. We didn't find out what deck we were playing until we got there, so I basically sat down with the Konami guys, picked the brains, and just went through my entire deck list of them, and just went through the strengths and what I needed to draw. But let's see how we got on. I'm on last. Yeah, last. Yuki and what card journalist? See, they is that the best French player in? Was it Vince? Or was it Vince? Oh, okay. I mean, I dodged a little bit of a bullet there then. I have Yuki and journalist. Oh my.
Obviously, you can't keep these because these have to go to the commentators. But
I've got it on my friend's list, but Julia's on the other motorbike guy then, so it's the motorbike off. Okay, cool.
what was the other one, sorry, for you? Yuki?
Yuki, yeah. Okay. I'm allowed to vlog this, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's open deck list.
That's true, yeah, it's open deck list, yeah.
You could have figured this out yourselves had you written everything down.
So Magic
Right, I'm going to research these and lose. Before we look at some clips, let's take a look at my deck list I was provided with. Those unfamiliar with Yu-Gi-Oh! You can have a minimum of 20 cards in your main deck, and then you can put more cards into your extra deck. The main focus and overview of my deck is the Relinquish card. My goal is to steal my opponent's minion, block damage, and destroy traps and spells. That is the overall feature of the deck, and it's sort of like a control deck.
The hero decks. Speaking of heroes, here are our heroes walking out now, straight towards the table. Excited. We're going to see Dane there, who's going to probably have an all right time with his deck. Are you going to walk us through that deck?
Yep, so Dane is playing Maximilian Pegasus. I mean, I didn't want to focus on this too much, but the fact that Dane has this is his first day playing Duel Links and pulled off such a fantastic combo using that skill.
Might I say, a brilliant combo.
Thanks, lads.
Combo, in fact, is just spectacular.
Look at this,
so
Dane!
Here we see the sacrifice has been made.
A relinquished is out.
And I must say, if you're very squeamish, avert your gaze because the animation for Relinquished is
I've never seen this
creepy.
animation.
Here
That
we
is
go.
gorgeous. I'm not sure I like that belly. but oh my God, that is amazing.
It's a bit creepy.
He's slightly creepy, but what a great play, and he can now take advantage of that hero.
At the start of this match, we have an unusable hand. I don't meet the requirements to summon a Relinquished. Luckily, we get hit for over 1,000 damage on the next turn. That gives me access to use Master of Rights, which is the Pegasus special skill. It allows me to swap one card from hand and swap one in the deck. I meet the requirements now for Relinquished and steal a weak monster from my opponent's board. Unfortunately, Card Journalist has the heart of the cards, and next turn he fusion summons a bigger unit, kills off my equipped monster, and swings in for lethal damage. Unfortunately, this one was out of our hands, and we actually played as best as we could, but we just didn't get there in the end.
The Pegasus is laid out.
He's got Dust Tornado, so that's not going to be much use
help
in this
him here.
situation, but potentially in the future. And yeah, here we go. We see...
Oh, Card Journalist looking cheeky. A little nod to the camera there. He knows what's happening here.
Consolidating all of his cards into this very strong Shining Flare Wingman. So he has no backup plan here. This is all in.
It's all or nothing here, but it looks like it might have paid off because that is 4,100 attack altogether over the top of that Senju.
He does have the Sphere Karibo though.
Activate its effect, Dane. Do it. He's done it. Oh, he's done it.
Card Journalist, shocked.
Start of this match, again, we have a pretty bad opening hand. We don't meet the requirements for a Relinquished. The one saving grace is, though, I have the Spear Karibo. This card can block one incoming attack from your opponent's monsters. Keep that in mind, because I actually misplay with the Spear Karibo in the next turn. Card Journalist goes all in with his fusion monsters here and commits to one large board, emptying his hand completely. If I'm able to steal the one big card out of his hand, we win this game. Unfortunately, I make a big misplay, and I recognize it straight away on stream. I block his largest monster from attacking me and let his smaller monster hit me in the face. What I should have done is the opposite. I should have blocked the smaller monster and let the big one hit me. This would have activated my Master of Rights special skill. I could have then drawn the card I needed to summon the Relinquished monster. I then could have stole his big card and just won the game outright next turn. Unfortunately, because I'm a bit of a novice and I don't have the mechanical play, so I don't recognize certain things straight away, I unfortunately make a snap decision to block the big attack, and unfortunately we lose the game because of that. Alright, I just stepped outside this convention center. I played my additional matches, so I went 2-0 against my other group stage opponent. I stole 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons off him, clean sweep, 2-0. Then I got put into the top 8 and I was first on, so I was the next match. I had about 3-4 minutes until I was on again. Didn't know my opponent's deck list. It was a Yugi deck list. I didn't know that was like a trap spell orientated deck, so we lost 2-0 because I didn't really know what I was playing against. If I went second or third, I might have had a better chance because I could have just blasted the research on it, but it is what it is. I placed top 8, which I'm pretty happy about. So for the first time playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And first tournament, it's not bad. Pretty happy with that. I'm going to go in and watch the semis now. See you later. The day before the tournament, I was doing the in-game lethal puzzles that you can do, and I was really surprised by how complex some of them are. Like, you have to get every summon correct, draw the cards correctly, or just like fusion summon correctly and have everything set up properly, which is a bit daunting for me. Actually, it's embarrassed to say, it actually took me like 20 tries in some cases to do them. That was the first experience I had with Yu-Gi-Oh! Was doing the actual lethal puzzles, not knowing what a synchro summon was or a ritual summon. So that's one downside of the game, I think, is because it's so vast and there's 23 years of cards that have been put out there. It can be daunting for a new player to come in, but for me, I quite like the challenge of like deck building and coming into a new game. So it was quite interesting in that aspect. I love the UI in the game. The fact that the shop and the marketplace is actually like a little marketplace. It reminds me of like old school RPGs. So the actual UI in the interface is great. They've done the best in the actual in-game shop to kind of like highlight what the new packs are, what the old ones are. I believe from talking to the Konami guys that every card is still in rotation, but there is a kind of like a ban list of cards that you can no longer use. Or a forbidden, is it forbidden list? It might be called a forbidden list. So my experience of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to be vastly different for you guys. You can check out the game. The link is in the description. It's on Steam and it's also on the mobile client as well. I've been playing it on both. Actually, I have a Steam one and a mobile one, which I was practicing on. I'd really like to, so I'm just going to list some of the upsides and downsides to the game from my experience from just blasting it within the last 4 days. Really like the mana system. There is no mana system. It's kind of inbuilt into the cards. You can only summon stuff based on its power, and more powerful cards require ritual summons or sacrifice summons or synchro summons. They're all within the game. The interface of the game is really well done. The gameplay is intuitive. I picked that up pretty quickly. That was one of my main concerns. I suppose one of the downsides is, as a new player coming in, I had no idea where to start. So I bought a couple of pre-made decks, tried those. I have no idea how competitive they are, but there is a really good guide, which I'll link to in the description as well. For any new players coming into it, they give you advice on what to buy and how to do it cheaply. And the game's really generous with its gold distribution, so I bought these packs with like in-game gold and practiced there. And big thanks to the French Konami team for inviting me out. I had loads of fun at the tournament. It was... it had its ups and downs. Mainly the downs are just me being really nervous, and especially on a couple of the games where I didn't know what my opponent was playing, but made the best of the situation, and I had a load of fun.